Hello, hello. Welcome to day 1253 of Connecting the Thoughts. Code for today is helping the process sometimes causes damage. Helping the process sometimes causes damage is what we are talking about. What do I mean by this? Well, sometimes when you step into when you there is always a way to the process, right? There are different steps to a process, and sometimes when you step in to the process with the intention of helping, sometimes you might be actually causing damage. More on this on the other side of the show reel. Tag a friend who needs to receive this message. And if you haven't subscribed already, do subscribe to the channel because here is where I post daily videos on the little things that make life big. Welcome back to the conversation. Hi, Vidya. So, today we are talking about, one second, let me just highlight that. We are talking on day 1253. We are talking about helping the process sometimes causes damage. And what do I mean by this? With all good intentions, sometimes we step in to help people. Sometimes we step in to make it less painful for them. Step in because we have probably been through it. We've probably feel that we are the expert, or we feel that we should protect our people from the pain of the journey. We step in to help. And what happens is when you help the person, you are actually taking away from them their experience of learning. You're taking away from them their experience of the journey. You're taking away from them their ability to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. So sometimes helping helping can cause damage. Therefore, I say helping the process sometimes causes damage, because there are steps to every process. And okay, if I look at counseling, if I look at coaching, for instance, the very first step is the intake, whereas you are getting to know the client, you're getting to understand the client. There is an assessment process. I'm assessing you, I'm understanding what is it that makes you tick, what is it that makes you feel a little upset, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, literally SWOT analysis. Then we come into the intervention, wherein what can be done. We work with the client. A coach works with the client to help them understand what they need to do. However, if I get a little, I feel rushed up, or I feel too connected to the client, and I want to save them, or I want to protect them, and this often happens with parents. We step in to protect our children. We step in to ask to make sure that our children are well looked after, or they don't have to go through the pain of life and its lessons. So we step in, and when we step in, what happens is, the assessment process is lost, the engagement is lost. You're just jumping into giving them advice, telling them what needs to be done, and therefore they for themselves are not able to assess their strengths, their weaknesses. They don't get to know themselves, and therefore the whole beauty of the journey, the beauty of the learning is lost. Therefore, I say helping the process sometimes causes damage. And if, for those of you wondering what happens after the planning, the contracting, well, planning, contracting, you have the intervention, and then we evaluate what has to be done, what does not have to be done, and then accordingly we action plan and future pace and close the intervention. So these are the ways a coach can help you. And it's important that the coach works with a lot of patience, a lot of trust in the process, and a lot of awareness that their client has the answers. So again, if I look at it from the parent perspective, or from the, if you're someone who is the higher authority in the office, or if you're a teacher, being a little patient with the people who you are working with is so, so important. Hey, Javed, good morning to you too. Which part of the world are you watching us from? You're saying good morning. So yeah, so be sure, be make it a point that you are interacting with your people, interacting with your children, and don't rush to help them. It's like when your children are learning to walk. They are going to fall, they are going to, get hurt, but eventually they will learn how to find their balance, take that one step, and then lift the other step and move forward. So it's a process. Do not jump to help them. Do not jump into the process and try to help, because in doing that, you will cause them damage, and it won't do good to them. So these are my thoughts. I feel like sometimes we need to let our children and our subordinates and our people learn from their mistakes, and it's okay sometimes to just step back and allow them to have that luxury of the process. So let me know what your thoughts are. If this conversation has been of value to you, please write in comments saying, I am patient. Because, yes, it takes a lot of patience to sit and watch someone going through a process that you might already know like the back of your hand. And yes, all right, so we have a question. Thank you, Mohammed, for watching. He says, what damage can it occur and how damages can be recovered? Yeah, let me give you an example. The damage is that happens is the person does not learn from the process, right? If you're spoon feeding your students, you're a teacher, you're coming from the education field, so I'll speak in your terms. So if you're constantly spoon feeding your students, what happens is they are then accustomed to getting the answers from you. They do not go into research, they do not go into finding out the answers for themselves. They do not have that curiosity or that thirst for knowledge. They're just waiting for everything to be spoon fed to them. And then, okay, in university, that's fine, you're there to support them, you do everything that needs to get done. But then what about after that, right? You're not going to be there for them always. There's a limited space in which you're going to be there. But if once the child leaves university, once the child leaves from home, has to work and live outside of home, like a lot of us right now, we are living away from our parents, we're living away from our families, but we have to fend for ourselves. We have to be, balanced. We have to be confident. We have to be capable of taking decisions. So, how can the damages be recovered? By slowly withdrawing, by slowly giving your students, your children, that confidence in themselves. Build the relationship, but don't jump in to help them with the process. So these are my thoughts. I hope that was helpful. Shahab, I hope that was helpful. And again, tag a friend who needs to receive this message. And if this conversation was of value to you, please write in comments saying, I am patient. Thank you, Javed. And Vidya says also, they may not learn for themselves. The expectations of getting help each time comes in. Exactly. And then the tantrums come in because they are expecting you to always help, right? Because you've kind of literally spoiled them by constantly helping them, constantly being there at their beck and call. And so that is the expectation of you. And then later on, what if you don't want to be there, or you're not there? God forbid, if you're not there for them, or, life is fragile. What if things change? So you just need to make sure that as you are there in a relationship, you are empowering the relationship. You're not making the other person dependent on you. Thank you so much, Javed. And until tomorrow, keep smiling, keep shining, stay safe, and thank you for connecting the thoughts with me. Thank you so, so much. Thanks.